All right, let's see if we can get this this show on the road. We will talk about React Native today. That's the scope of this one. Let me just adjust my camera. I don't understand why it is so weird. I keep messing around with the settings, and either it's my background or is it me? I don't know. I need to get that something like this. No, something like this. Yeah. No, I don't. No. That's not it.
No.
No. There we go. Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to live with that. Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. So we're gonna go do this on Twitch.
Thomas, before you start, I wrote you something.
We already started. I saw that. We can talk about it.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So we are already live on Twitch, and let's see if we can get this thing off the ground. There's time and place for everything, absolutely. We will deal with that at some other point. But today's topic is React Native, and I see that Luke has joined us straight from the basketball court.
Got the goat on the back.
Jordan, right? I'm gonna put you.
So,
I'm gonna put you on screen here.
Oh, nice. Oh, wait, I should probably go into Twitch then.
Yeah. There we go. We have Luke straight from the White Man Can't Jump.
I know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. That's great. All right. Awesome. Now we're gonna remove you from the screen.
Yeah, exactly. Take me away.
Right. So, boys, you're gonna have to go on Twitch for this one. Would you please be so kind to do that? Awesome.
Thomas, at the moment you look as if you're on an old TV on Twitch. You're so
I know. So there's something like majorly. Let's see if I can get this a little better. Is that a little better?
The lighting stuff is.
Yeah, so I need to fix that.
It's insane. I also had a little trouble with it.
Yeah, so I need to figure out some. I need to figure out some stuff how to do this.
Have you baked any tunnbröd yet?
We have not. I'm sorry to say that we have not, and that's really bad.
There we go. That's good. You're pretty decent there.
Yeah, I am decent, but then now you can see the
the background. Yeah.
It is in on the stream.
It is.
Right, so we're just gonna remove that. I don't know. It looks like state TV in Poland back in the days. We all have to play with the cards that has been dealt to us, right? So
you've got a special guest as well, Thomas. Angela Merkel here is to as well.
Yeah. Let's put her on screen. So we have Angela Merkel keeping Kim company. Could you move a little bit? Could you move? There we go. There is Angela. That is
over him.
That is so odd that I can't even begin to say how odd that is. That's so fucking odd. But I guess it is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Right. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. So let's get after it. Let's talk React Native. Now I'm out of focus. Am I in focus now?
Yeah.
No, yeah. Jeez. Right. So keep the chat civil today, people. We don't want to do the same thing that we did the other day. There's a small little problem, and this is the problem. I don't know if you see that, but it's an empty snooze dosa.
That is the worst.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I really don't know what's wrong with me. I need to check my stash, see if I have something.
Otherwise, you're gonna have a bad day.
Well, I do sit in the central part of Gothenburg, so it shouldn't be too bad. There is always
Screw the lesson.
yeah,
A kiosk open somewhere.
right, exactly. And so I love the eye in the triangle with the wings. That's beautiful. The Illuminati is here. All right, let's get after it. Let's see what the big tech has given us, the deadly people, to keep us occupied. As you all know, React is a product of a bunch of developers that are financed by Facebook, which is the Illuminati, I guess. So today we're going to talk about building mobile applications, folks. And I have a little bit of slides. Then we're going to take a short break, stretch your legs, get ourselves some snooze, and then, well, actually, you know what? I could call a guy. You know, I've always a guy I can call.
Call somebody.
Yeah, I'm going to call somebody. Let's do that here live on stream, actually. Because I will not be able to survive without it, you know. So let's see if we can get this. Do you hear the sound?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, we've got 14 people in it.
Listening
Right.
to snooze ordering.
Yes, Oliver? Ja, jag behöver att du går till tobaksaffären och köper snus till mig. Ja, du vet vilken jag tar. Jag tar den här XR. Ska jag ta kort på den eller? Ja, slim white. You know, I do the slim one. Jag skickar bild för säkerhets skull. All right. Puss. Hej då. All right. The issue is solved. I'm just gonna send a picture of this snusdosa. There we go. Right. That was the right guy. Okay, good. Now, I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel, people. There is a light at the end of the... What are you saying? Do we have 14 people watching this? No.
There were.
Oh,
Now
they forgot snus too. Maybe they went to buy.
Yeah.
They're gone now. They were like, okay.
Went to buy snooze.
Yeah. All right. So they're missing out on the React Native part because they couldn't stand me ordering snus. I got it. That's okay. Let's talk about React Native, people. Let's do this. Here I am. Okay. So on the agenda today, background. What's the deal, O'Neill, on React Native? So basically, what and why. That's the answers we will take or the questions we will take a look at and see if we can figure out some answers. And then we're gonna take a look at some basic concepts of building React Native applications. We're gonna take a look at some alternatives that are out there, and then we will also explore something, a tool that we will be using called Expo, and its command line interface implementation, Expo CLI. And then we will also do a little bit of coding if my computer doesn't die on me, and it's just about to do that. I'm down to the amazing 17 megabyte internal memory now. Jesus. Now I'm up on 7 gigabytes. I probably need to do something with my computer, but not today. All right. So, desktop versus mobile. I don't know if our audience or my audience knows this, but the majority of all the internet traffic that is, made by humans, there's a lot of traffic going on, of course, on the internet, but the ones that the traffic that could be attributed to a living person or a living soul is actually happening over using mobile devices. I read somewhere that 70% of all traffic that relates to, reading news, entertaining themselves, even conducting business and what have you, is happening over a mobile device, which means that we as developers need to be able to actually develop for these devices. Otherwise, we won't be able to do our job. So desktop versus mobile. Now, even though we are using the same underlying technology nowadays for a lot of telecommunications, of course, because IP telephony is a big thing and so on. We're not going to address that at all. We're going to talk about information systems extended to be delivered on mobile devices. So we use the same protocol, the HTTP protocol and the TCP/IP based networks, and there are specific challenges with being on mobile. Connection slower, smaller screens, and etc. Right? Well, the connection being slower is perhaps not relevant anymore because those connections are quite fast nowadays. But it's a totally different environment, and we need to take that into account. And historically, traditionally, there was also a totally different type of computer languages and tools that we use to develop these kind of applications. For iOS, we were talking about Objective-C and Swift, and for the Android platform, Kotlin, Java, and so on. And then there are some other platforms, I guess, like Windows Phone or whatever it's called, BlackBerry, right? But nobody uses them anymore, so we don't have to talk about them. Anyway, we're going to be covering a few of these topics and concepts. So the problem statement, if we think about it, is that we need to move beyond desktop and do other stuff. And of course, the first thing that comes to mind are the mobile phone platforms, Android or iOS. But there are many other things, like how about Apple TV or those dreadful Android-based TV sets that you can use. Slow as fuck. I hate them. I have one at home. Really. But forget about it. CarPlay is another thing. I use CarPlay a lot for podcasts and for BookBeat and even sending messages. I talk to Siri constantly when I'm in the car. I feel lonely sometimes, so I have to talk to somebody. So I talk to Siri. But there is also virtual reality applications and augmented reality applications and different platforms and so on. And so should we forget about them, or can we actually do something that will, or learn about something that will help us to develop for these kind of platforms as well? I would say that React Native is one of many solutions to the problem, and that will allow us to do just that. So React Native allows us to build something that sounds very fancy, and it is fancy, cross-platform applications using the technology that we all know and love, kind of, and that is JavaScript. So we can use web technologies to build native applications that can run across multiple platforms. React Native is a cousin of React. It follows the same kind of development path. So there's like with a small delay usually when you do something in React, it takes a little while before it's implemented in React Native. But I wouldn't say that the core team is the same. I actually don't know how that is being handled. I'm going to turn off chat here if that's okay. Not here on computer. Keep on chatting. I'll be reading the chat, but I don't necessarily have to display it. But yeah, so it's a cousin of React and they share a lot of the same technologies and so on. The good thing, we can build applications that target not only the popular mobile platforms, but we can also address or build stuff for Apple TV, CarPlay, VR, AR, Windows phones, should anyone want to do that for some reason. And we can also build desktop applications using React Native if we want. So that's totally doable. It's been around. So it was released in March 2015. So it is what it is. And it grew rapidly in popularity, and it continues to grow in popularity. And it is used by many developer houses. And it brings us one step closer to the card. Hold on a second, boys. So try this one. Oh, jag tror det. Yeah. Right. Sorry about that. That was the snooze purchase that needed a credit card. It's my son actually. Anyway, it brings us closer to the holy grail of development, in my opinion. This is a completely different discussion, but I just want to mention this, that if you learn something and you can use it across the board, that's the beauty of it, right? So learn once, write anywhere. If you can learn JavaScript and you can actually use it to build for the web, to build for the mobile, but also to build for the other devices and other environments that we spoke of, that is a good thing. Okay. But it's not that simple though. I'm not saying that React Native and solves everything, because it doesn't, right? It would be naive to think that it's a solution to all the problems, but it brings us a little closer to this dream scenario where we can reuse our skills and our competence across the board, actually. And it's very effective in terms of how much code you need to write and how you can reuse things. And if you look at some statistics and some smarter people than me, apparently, because I can't even find words to express it, have looked at gains of using React Native. So the claim is that real-world projects could typically see 80 to 95% code reuse. So you don't have to write that much code. There is so much to leverage on in terms of the library itself, or the framework itself, but also all the packages and everything else that is built around it. So it allows teams to become more productive and get features shipped faster, which is a good thing for everyone involved, us, the developers, or clients, or end users, and so on. So that's a good thing. Right. So faster speed of development and lower cost of development. Of course, code reuse. We can ship across multiple platforms. You can also possibly ship code over the air and update that and bypass the App Store or Google Play, so you can have the software update itself. And I want to be very careful with making these kind of statements, because this could be a breach of my developer agreement with Apple, but also I'm not 100% sure that this will always be possible. Those platforms, they are looking into gaining control over the deployment process, so you don't necessarily can do that. But in principle, back in the when I was using React Native actively in project, you could update the software. You can have a mechanism that updated the software from within the software and bypass App Store. But it's a longer discussion. It's a different discussion. But anyway, another reason is that it is actually easier to find developers. React Native is in high demand, but any JavaScript developer could potentially become a React Native developer with a fairly short, vad heter startsträcka på engelska?
I mean, onboarding works quite well in this situation.
Yeah, the onboarding time, of course.
Learning curve.
Learning curve, that's what it's called, you see?
Yeah.
That's it. So it becomes easier to find developers. And since you guys already know JavaScript, you know React, you will see that developing with React Native will feel familiar. It won't be super easy, but you won't get all the surprises like when you were making a jump from vanilla JavaScript into React. That is a bigger change than from React to React Native, of course. All right. So underneath the hood, JavaScript is bundled and minified using Bubble. That is built into React Native. It's similar to what React does. However, in React Native, we're using separate threads that are used for the user interface, the layout, and to interpret and run JavaScript. And those threads communicate asynchronously throughout something that is called a native bridge, which is built in Swift Objective-C for iOS and Java Kotlin for Android devices. it comes pre-bundled with the runtime. And those threads are UI thread, JS thread, and native module thread, right? So we can communicate with native components of the device that we are currently running the code on. A little more about that later, but in principle, when we look at the schematics of this, this is what it looked like. I will actually rather go back to this diagram later, and it will make more sense. Your source of knowledge, as usual, rely on documentation as everybody else in this industry. I can Google things for you, or you can Google that yourself, right? And one good source is the reactnative.dev website. That is part of the truth that you need to digest. And the other one would be another website, and that would be the Expo CLI website. I will come to that in a few more minutes. But definitely reactnative.dev should be bookmarked by you and frequently visited. There's a lot of documentation there, under docs, of course. Now, we're talking about different types of UI primitives than HTML, because there is actually no HTML in React Native. I'm going to talk more about that, but the view, the text, and scroll, all the things that you want to use in order to build mobile interfaces will be imported from the React Native library. And if we look at the HTML part, we have to unlearn that. In React, you can use and sometimes should use HTML. You cannot do that in React Native. There is no browser in native that can interpret HTML, and your apps can't do it. So a div is called a view in native. Text, there's a text primitive, and that is basically a span with a P or an H tag. Scroll view is basically also a div with a scroll activated. Image is image or IMG. Text input would be an input field, and for instance a picker, and these are just examples, or the select tag with some options, right? So you have to pass in data. You cannot use any of these HTML tags. This is of course just as an example, but they will eventually render as HTML in your device, but that is beyond your control. You do not use them. So you remember when I think that you will appreciate why I was it is not really XML. I wouldn't say that. It's more like components. Got a question in chat. So JSX is a little bit like XML with JavaScript inserted into it, right? XML on steroids. But you see, remember when I was talking to you guys that are live with me here on stream about using semantic UI, because a lot of those HTML components were pre-bundled into semantic UI components that you imported from that library. Now, the reason why I did that is because I wanted you to get ready to get away from HTML as much as possible already in React. And then because I knew that when you were transitioning into a React Native, you would have to do it anyway. That kind of, you are already familiar with the fact that HTML can be bundled into components, and that's exactly what's happening here in a specific way. Thanks for the follow. Quickest, I don't know. Anyway, right. But the good thing and the powerful thing here is that we can use native components and their APIs in React Native. So, for instance, with a breeze, really easily, we can access the camera and camera roll. We can use different type of keyboards on our devices. You can get the net info, whether you're online, offline, which of course is extremely relevant for the UX of your application. You can vibrate the device if you want to use the vibrator, and no naughty jokes now, guys. And also the pan responder. You can do a lot of things using using your when you build your React Native applications. So basically everything that is doable on your mobile device is accessible with the right permissions, of course, from the user in your React Native application, your contact info, and your status, and your geolocation, and so on. Some of these are included in React Native, some other are included in Expo, some other are available by if you include separate packages. That is a little bit of a shit show, to be honest, what you should use and when and so on, right? But most of the things that you can do on a mobile device is doable in React Native as well. So if we take a quick comparison between React Native and the classic React, one expression that I sometimes use is this same but totally different. It is not the same thing, and I've already touched upon this, in this talk. But there are different primitives, different UI components. Styling is done differently. Most of the things that you've got used to as in global scope in a browser are not accessible. So you do not have, for instance, local storage. You don't have the Navigator object. You don't have all of that stuff. The JavaScript runtime that is being executed is not V8, not the same one that is used in most browsers. It's rather Node.js like syntax. So it is different. Simply, it's all the basic stuff like iterating, mapping, filtering, and all of that stuff, is the same, because it's the computing parts. But anything that is touching upon the events, for instance, or finding elements and stuff like that you are used to, like query selector or find element by ID or add event listener, that is not non-existent in here, right? You have a different type of navigation, more accurate actually for many cases, because we're on a mobile device, so your geolocation will be more accurate. And the thing that I've already touched upon when we had our off-camera talk earlier today, the mobile UI and the user experience is totally different than the desktop one, right? So remember, mobile applications are not mini websites, right? Tiny cute websites. They are applications, and you shouldn't. You need to let go of the desktop app way of doing things, and you have to take into consideration that you are on a much smaller screen. Your data needs to be displayed in much smarter way, in totally different way than you are used to. Okay. And also deployment is different, right? Because there is nowhere to deploy but to the app stores. We can bypass certain things, and we can do direct install of our application on our phones. The Expo people have an app that you can use to preview your application. But in terms, if you want to go live, really live, go into production, then you need to go through one of the Play stores, right? That's really important. Yeah, so it is different. Now, event handling. First of all, we're going to talk a little bit about touchable components. Like, first of all, there's no clicking in React Native. They are tapping, right? So you don't click because you don't have a mouse. You tap on things with your finger. So that is different, okay? And so the question is, what exactly are you tapping on sometimes, right? Is it a text? Is it, quite often you want, and you've probably seen that or experienced this in JavaScript as well, that if you have on a website like a div, and the div contains a paragraph object, and there's a span object, and there's some other nested objects, and you want to add an on-click event to any of those. So the question is, which one are you adding the event, the click handler on? Is it the top one or any one of the nested ones, right? Now, that problem is more and more becomes more relevant here in React Native, and this is just out of my own experience. When I started out on this, I was used to adding event handlers, or for instance on click or on tap, to specific, to the element that was in question, right? Here, sometimes you need to wrap a set of elements with a component that is a touchable component, right? So there is, because we have buttons, we have something called touchable highlight, touchable opacity, which is a see-through component. It doesn't have any UI at all. And then touchable without feedback, which is another one. We'll cover more of these as we move forward, because there's no need to do that right now. And you can also create custom components using a mechanism called pan responder, for instance. And then there is, as you have in JavaScript, perhaps you just haven't used that. There is a short press or a short tap and a long tap. If you press and hold on a component, then a different event is being triggered, and so on, right? So you can elaborate with that differently. And so this, and why am I telling you this? Because hold on a second. 25.002. Right. Because you will figure this one out when you start building stuff. You need to do things slightly different and get used to you building with React Native before you can actually become productive on that with that. Styling is different. It is more similar to inline styling in React. You haven't used that before, but we do not have classes anymore. Everything is done inline. It depends a little bit how you do it. Layout is done with Flexbox, and if you haven't used Flexbox before, you need to read up on that. Now, the style is being passed into those primitives as style properties. So it's like an object, but it can also be an array of styles. So you can define them in variables and then combine them on the component itself or on the primitive. And you can use a specific API called style sheet for optimization. It renders a little faster. We don't necessarily have IDs in React Native, or they work totally differently. Strong. You bought me the strong stuff. All right. Vatten gärna, ett vattenglas. Okay. Sorry about that. Gee, I'm a beginner snoozer. This is gonna put me down.
Yummy.
You think so? Is that yummy? It says slim, white, strong. All right. Let's do it, folks. If I die, I die, right? You only live once. No, so we use IDs differently, and overall it renders in a different way. We will examine a little bit of React Native code in our browsers to see what's up, and it's kind of interesting to watch, interesting to see. So, for instance, just if we go back to styling, if you can see this on screen properly, so you pass this in as object with properties. So you, for instance, but you know this already. If you want to pass this in as background color, you do not say background dash color, but rather camel cased and so on. And you just pass this in into your component. And if you want to use style sheets, you have to import style sheet from React Native and set it up slightly different. But this syntax that I'm showing on screen right now and this one does basically the same thing, but the one using style sheet is considered more performance good for performance, basically. A little more code to write, but generally a good thing. Yeah, I already showed you this. This is not a good user interface on a mobile application. I had a few more screenshots of how not to do things, but let's not dive into this. But it's hard. It's a bit elusive, but it's when you see bad UI, you recognize it. So you should probably not build those bad UIs. So building bad UIs is easy, and it's easy to spot them. Building good UIs is harder, but it's also easy to spot them. You recognize a good app when you see one. Now, when we run our applications, and this is where the shit starts to hit the fan, people, because we're all on different computers, and Krister had issues, and Kim had issues, and we have the Linux people, and yada yada, right? So usually you want to run your application in a simulator. That is the best way to do things. Well, the by far best way is to run it on a device, right? But if you want to simulate or emulate the real environment, you want to run it in a simulator. So on a Mac, an iOS or OS X-based computers, so on Apple computers, you use Xcode with a built-in simulator, and on your Linux computers, you're going to use Android Studio for that. And that is usually when the joy of building mobile applications is extinguished among people. So that's you have to brace for impact on this one. We will work our way through this, and we will prevail eventually. But this can be actually quite bad, a bad experience. Thank you for the follow, ZGH 2020. Now, another thing here, Oliver is actually great at setting up Android Studio on Android. He's right here. Oh, he's gone now. Okay. He used to be my. Can you close the door, please? Was it? Yeah. All good. Thank you for the coffee. No, but he's actually good. I'm gonna ask him to help you guys. If this is beyond Lucas, then Oliver will help you. Are you not paying attention, Lucas? Are you asleep now?
No, I'm here.
Yeah. You're the expert on Linux. You know that, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm running Linux on my Windows right now. I don't.
Ugh.
Big mess, I think.
That's a bit of. That's not gonna fly. But you've run a few native applications already on that setup, or?
Well, no, I might need to get my other computer back up.
Okay. All right. Right. I promised to mention some alternatives. Flutter is one, built for mobile development. Don't know anything about it. Emma was the great champion of Flutter. I like after many years of not liking JavaScript, I actually like JavaScript nowadays. So I will stick to that. So I will not learn Flutter personally, but it is up and coming. A lot of development houses are looking into that, and so that wouldn't be a bad idea for you guys to at least explore at some point. When I started out building hybrid applications, I was using Ionic. Ionic was one of the first ones that provided a good user experience for us developers and could tap into native components. Back then it was based on Angular. When I started out, it was actually Angular 1, the first version of Angular. Then Angular became a fully featured framework, and I moved over to React and then the React Native. So I've done something last year in Ionic, because Ionic can be actually used in conjunction with, together with React, regular React nowadays. And so you can build React applications, repackage them for the mobile, and deliver them on mobile. And that's pretty good. That's pretty neat. And I was a bit intrigued by that. But native is included in my curriculum because it's more sought after on the job market. And I think that you and the audience, whoever, if you put your mind to it and learn React Native, that enhances your value on the market. But to be honest, I would say that if you want to go with this learn once, write everywhere approach, I could make an argument that Ionic is slightly better on that than React Native. Because then you only, quote unquote, would have to learn React and then repackage everything and use that for your native applications. So if I were to build something for like a client, then I would think about, in terms of choosing a framework or a library, I would consider both Ionic and React Native. And if I were to build a client for the web and for the mobile, under certain circumstances, I would probably lean toward Ionic, actually. But I am not facing that issue now, today. Today I'm doing a talk about React Native, so let's stick to that. And then let's talk about the Expo thingy. Now, building mobile applications, and overall, it's not only about mobile, it's about JavaScript applications, is a configuration hell. Okay? Now, I think you guys have been through setting up React manually once, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was a shit show, wasn't it?
Pretty sure.
Right. And since then, you've been using the Create React App scaffolder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like a breeze. You just do yarn, create React App, and then the name, and boom, off you go. You have to do a little bit of cleaning because you get some overhead code that you don't need. But generally speaking, you can be up and running in 10, 15 minutes, right? Right, okay. Now, Expo does that for us, but in the context of React Native, and also more than that. Because Expo not only gives us a scaffolder, but it also gives us a lot of packages that we can use to speed up our development, actually. So that is, I don't know if I'm on a limb here and people will get mad at me, but I would say that Expo is like the Create React App on steroids. It is that and much, much more, and I like it. Now, there are good things and the bad things with it. Very similar to the Create React App, and perhaps you guys don't know this because you haven't used that feature. You are kind of locked into the configuration that the people that created this. That's so funny when your dad just showed up from the clouds. He scared the shit out of me. He scared the shit out of me. Oh my.
He's in a good mood today, I think.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. You didn't see this Twitch, but Lucas has this background that he's up in the clouds, and all of his the sudden like God appeared from heavens, and that was his dad, in a good mood apparently. Where was I? I was in right. So when you scaffold an application using the Create React App, you are bound into the configuration setting and boundaries that the people that created that scaffolder set up for you, right? And there are things that you can modify, of course. You can focus on developing your application. That is the good thing. But sometimes you want to gain more control over the configuration. So what you can do is in regular React is to eject from that. And you've probably seen that if you examine your package JSON in any project that was created with that scaffolder, there is this yarn eject command that you can run. Now, if you do that, then there is a script being run that kind of opens up this application to end the entire configuration to you to be able to overwrite if you want to do that. Now, Expo does the same thing. When you create an Expo app, it creates it with a given set of settings pre-configured, and you can always eject from that, and that opens up the entire. It's like opening up a Pandora's box. Me and Lucas actually did that once, if you remember. That was a shitload of files that was being created, for us and so on. And the thing is that it's all there, but you can't see it. When you eject, you just lift it up to the surface, and you can access them, right? I will show you this mechanism at some point, but not today. So Expo is definitely interesting, and if you want another source of truth, that was the screenshot I was looking for earlier in this presentation. You want to go to expo.io. That is the website for there, and there are docs. There is everything there that you need, and there is an online executor, runner of your apps, or even code snippets that is really, really good. So expo.io. There is, of course, some packages you need to install, like the Expo CLI, so that you can get things up and running. Now, oh yeah, there's the packages. I come prepared. npm install globally, so you pass in the G flag and you just do expo-cli, and if you want to scaffold an application, you just do expo init hello world. Hold your horses now, young cowboys. Do not go on and initialize anything yet. We will do that in just a minute. Okay. Gee. Right. So that's that. But what you can do is to say npm install globally expo-cli. That is totally doable. That will take a while, depending on how how much internal memory you have, and I have like nothing. Yeah, I need to free up some space here. So creating a new React Native project using Expo is simple. There are other ways to create React Native projects. And again, this is also important. When you Stack Overflow things in regard to React Native, you need to be really careful with what you read and what you let yourself be influenced by, because a lot of answers on Stack Overflow or in any other parts of the web will be about React Native, like pure React Native, which is one way of using this. Others will be about ejected Expo applications, and yet others will be about Expo applications, and then probably things in between and so on, right? So when you look for resources or answers to your problems, you have to be very careful with what you are doing, right? And I think, Lucas, you have a little bit of scar tissue to show for this. You're nodding. That's good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. With the 3D thing,
Absolutely. And
you're
we're still
looking
not
into
there.
at least 10 different plugins or gems or whatever it's called, packages. And some were for the React app, some were a little bit of Expo, and some were a mix of it, as you say. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's some, you have to be critical with
Yeah.
those things.
Yeah. So be careful with that, right? We have practiced your Googling skills. Now you have to practice them even more. All right. So I think that's it. Let's do a little bit of coding just to recap, which spoke a little bit about the background of what React Native is, what sort of a problem it solves overall, but also in smaller scope. So I talked a little bit about basic concepts, the alternatives, mentioned Expo CLI. We just scratched the surface on all of these topics, and it's time to learn by doing, right? So what we're going to do is to take a 5-minute or 6-minute break, and then we will be back and we will be doing some coding. So if there's a bio break you need in whatever number of that, whatever index you're looking at, make it fast and effective. Okay, get you a glass of water, exercise your fingers. There will be some typing in the next session. Okay, cool. All right, BRB, I think. Right, so I'm just going to switch over to starting soon, and off I go. Yes. All right, boys. Screen. There we go.
1,857 packages.
I'm back in business.
Welcome back.
And I'm back on Twitch as well. Good stuff. Break's over, folks.
Fuck.
Break's over. Do we have any viewers? I don't know. I can't see it.
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, that's important. So I'm on that mod view that you showed me, and for some reason I can't see how many viewers I have because I probably fucked something up.
Give me a second. I can.
It's 9 right now.
Right.
Check out mine.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is, right? Okay. So let's see if we can code. Let's see if we can code it. Let's move this. Let's make this out somewhere. And let's do cd projects. And no, sorry, it's p projects with a capital P actually. There we go. Right, and then I'm just gonna do npm install globally Expo CLI, right? That's what I want to do. Right. And that you want to run this as well. This is actually a little bit of a code along, folks. Is that okay with you?
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that's a good thing. Right. And I do think we have a little bit of documentation about this somewhere.
Deprecate.
Yeah. That I never understood all of this stuff with this. So I'm actually gonna do this audit fix thing. No? Well, that was interesting. So let's not do that then.
Anticlimactic.
Right? Okay. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pick the lowest hanging fruit here. We're gonna say Expo init, and since this is a code along, folks, I would like you to submit those PRs to me when the time is due. Okay. Not PRs, I mean the code, your repositories. Sorry for being not being clear enough. So what we want to do is Expo init, and then we're just going to say hello world. And that's it. That's it, folks.
That's not very good.
Right, and we are presented with some choices here, and what we want to do is to set up a blank project. Okay, we could set up this one that is called minimal with TypeScript and so on, but we don't want to do that right now, and we don't want to use TypeScript because we want to pick the lowest hanging fruit here, right? So we're going to do blank. Is that like understood, or are you with me on this one?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Great. I just want to see your faces. There you are, folks. I see you. The others can't see you, but I see you. And this will take a while because you have to install all the dependencies and all this shit, right? And
Jan Idle, Jan Ives, Jan Web. Nice.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm still on good stuff. Right. So now we want to cd into hello world, of course. And then we want to pick the lowest hanging fruit here. So we're going to do yarn start. Okay. We don't want to say iOS.
Ooh.
And that will open up a few things for you. For instance, it will open up this web interface. You should see something like this.
QR code.
With a big ass QR code. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Good stuff. So there is a few settings here. We're going to click on this Run in Web Browser, okay?
Yep.
Right. And there's some shit happening on the back, in your console. And this is your application. Open up app.js to start working on your app. And yeah, not much of an app, is it?
No, it's pretty blank then.
Pretty blank. Pretty damn blank. And so what you can do is to inspect this thing. And again, I'm showing you the bare minimum here. And see, in your DevTools, you have this icon in the top right corner that allows you to switch to a mobile view, right?
Yeah.
And then, right, so we want to do that. And then we want to dock this on the side. Let's make this a little bigger like this, and then I can choose an iPhone X, for instance, like this. And I can also choose iPhone, if I do iPhone 6, 7, something like this, and then I think there is show device frame. Right, if you show device frame and then you do auto fit to window, there you go. Now you see your mobile.
Commercial.
Ooh.
Is there a commercial? Well,
Yeah.
you will be back in just a few
I
seconds.
didn't see what you.
Well, I will show it.
Where you go? Where did you go?
I will show you. Just let me know when you're out.
Yeah,
of
now.
commercial.
Where did you go?
Where did you go? I went to those 3 dots here, and you said you can choose a hide device frame. So that will
Okay.
remove the frame. I can
Show.
show the device frame. And if I go to iPhone X, there is no device frame on that actually. You can't. So if you want to do a device frame, then you have to do this older iPhone.
Like 6, 7, 8. Okay.
Yep. You done with that?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Amazing, isn't it? You just built your first mobile application. I'm done with the demo. That's it.
Awesome.
Awesome. I know.
That easy.
It is. Okay, let's see if we can do something more interesting with this. Okay. There must be something more interesting than showing this. So let's keep this one open. Let's make sure that we open up another tab in our terminal. Keep the application up and running because there's a hot reloader, so you can always see your changes on screen. And let's open this up in our code editor.
I don't even remember how to open up another one inside this.
I do Command T on a Mac.
Command T. Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming back to me slowly. I've been away from programming for such a long time, 2 hours. So and open this up. Let's just take a look at this for a moment or two, because it's actually quite interesting. If you look at the application structure, you can probably recognize yourself a little bit, right? We have assets, whatever that is, splash PNG, which is a splash screen. The first thing that is being displayed when you open up an app. This is a default one, probably not that very sexy. You probably don't want to keep that around. There is an icon that looks like this right now. You can create your own icons based on this one. Forget about the round corners. The round corners will be added by in the store. You know that when you look at the icons on an iOS phone, they are usually rounded. You know that, right? Yeah. Don't have to worry about that. And then there is a favicon, which is this for now, and adaptive icon. What the fuck ever that is? I don't know. But that's in assets, so we know that. Then you have your app.jsx, right? And let's take a look at the app.jsx. We're importing the status bar from something called Expo status bar, we are importing React from React. You know about that one, right? We've done this before.
Yeah.
And we are importing style sheet and then two primitives, text and view from React Native. And then we have this Expo default function app. So, you know, we don't write it like this. We do this instead. That's better. It's cleaner. And also you don't use the function keyword, but rather const app equals and then an arrow function here. That feels cleaner to me, to be honest. But hey, who the fuck am I, right? Well, I'm the guy at the keyboard, so I can write any code I would like. If I feel more comfortable with this, then that's how I'm going to do this, right? And then you have the styles here, using the style sheet, and we have the container. Definition, flex one, background color, you know, whatever, align item center and justify content center, right? And look what happens on the view on line 7. We are saying view style equal, and then we're just injecting this styles.container. So container becomes a property of the styles object, and that's it, right? Cool. That's how you inject this. And so if I now, again, let's put this on screen. Let's close this. No, I can't close this. Shit. I have too small let's put it here, right? And let's make this one smaller. I need a bigger screen, obviously. Right, so if I now just change this text to hello world, that automatically changes to hello world, right?
Yep.
Okay, if I remove line 20 because I don't want to align them in center, then they are not aligned in center. If I remove the justify content from center, then it will be rendered up on the on top, right? And I can add an attribute to the styles, and I'm going to call it header, right? And that will be an object, and I will say font size, and I will say just 30, nothing else. And then I will say on the text, I will say style equals styles dot header, right? Then you see that this takes effect. Are you down, folks?
Yep.
All right. Awesome. Now you styled your own component a little bit, didn't you? Yes, you did. Okay.
What? I didn't get it up. What did I write? Ah, there.
Right. So let's see if we can do some more interesting stuff, okay? So let me just pull up my notes here.
What? I didn't get it up.
You didn't get it up?
Style equals styles dot header.
Styles. Yeah.
You want to share your screen?
What the fuck?
You want to share your screen?
I'm on my way. There. Can you see?
In a second.
Style.
Down the bottom it says font Sykes instead of font
That's there it is. There it is. Now.
There you go.
Oh, can go up.
All right. Can't go up. All right.
Now.
All good.
Yes.
All good. Is everybody else? Arun, are you with us?
My typos.
Yes, I am with you.
Kim? You're doing an okay sign. That's good. It's and Lucas is okay. Seva is okay, I assume. And Luke is all right. David.
Yes.
Okie dokie, folks. Let's give this a little bit of
Let's do this.
of a look. You know, there is something called React Navigation. You know. Let's have a look at React Navigation and see if we can use it in our application. So we're going to go to React Navigation, npm. Oh, well, actually, yeah. So this is a good way of doing this. Go to npm.js.org, npm.js.org, and you just search for React Navigation. Routing and navigation for your React Native apps. Wow, that's exactly what we're looking for, isn't it? Where is it? I don't know. It could be. I don't know if chat is with us. If you want to code along, then code along, of course. That's always nice. Okay, so let's take a look at how we can get started. You know, getting started is a good way to do things. The best way to learn is to follow Getting Started guide. Okay, let's do that, right? Let's go to Getting Started guide. And here we can see that we can do hello React Navigation. Let's do that. We're gonna import this, okay guys? But we do that using yarn. So we're gonna do yarn add React Navigation stack in our terminal. So we're gonna add that as a dependency. You look surprised, David. Are you down with me or?
Yeah. The video is a bit late for him, so
It's a little delay.
Okay. Make sure to do the bare minimum here. Do not, drift off. We're doing a Hello World application, nothing else, okay? So we're just going to use a little bit of React Navigation. I want to start off with this because navigating between different screens in a mobile application is different than navigating between pages or paths or whatever in a desktop app. And I really want you to get started with this in a proper way, okay? So we will import something called navigation container. Now I want that this documentation is a bit weird, to be honest. So I want to add this navigation container, but you see this one comes from React Navigation native and not stack. So this might actually cause a bit of a problem for us. Who are you waving to, David?
Lucas' father is there.
He's very curious.
Oh, is God back?
Yeah, inside the clouds.
Oh, there he is. Right. Okay, cool. Say hello. Say hello. And then we want to do this create stack navigator. And this one seems to be coming from this one. So I'm actually going to grab these two and I'm going to input them into my container, right? And if there's anything wrong with this, actually I'm going to, before I do that, I'm going to remove line 9 where I use this status bar, and I'm going to remove this import altogether. I don't think I need it for anything. And I'm going to import this navigation container and create stack navigator. And we shall see, yeah, we got an error here because for two reasons. Either we need to restart or we need to actually add this React Navigation native to our package JSON. But let's start small. So let's just restart the server, and now we can actually say yarn web. It's even smarter for us. Let's see if that works.
Did you write yarn?
Yarn start.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, yarn web. Sorry.
Okay.
Right. And we're still seeing the same error, which means that we can have this one running, head over to the second one, and do yarn add React Navigation /native instead of stack. Do you understand? We're going to do native now.
Okay.
So it's a very similar command to the one that we used before, but we're going to say native instead of stack. There we
Wait a
go.
minute, Thomas. Hold yourself a little bit.
Vmal6634, thank you for the follow. We are doing a little bit of React Native using Expo CLI, and we are taking our first look at the React Navigator. Where are you now, Aaron?
Yep, on the page.
Okay, and what are you seeing?
I'm following you. Same.
So you are saying,
I was just like, I just checked for native. That's it. It's working for me now. Perfect.
okay, because it's not working for me, so I'm a bit surprised that it works for you.
No, the same your compiled in. I'm having kind
Right.
of.
Okay. So we're going to restart this again because we want to get by this. Want to get past this error. We don't necessarily need to see anything new on screen, but we need to go past this error. I want to see hello world again, because if I don't, then there's something wrong, or at least I shouldn't see anything. Let's see.
Mine.
I just have the same error.
You have to restart the server again.
I did that. You're on web. I just have to reload it. I can just do like this. On web.
Justify content. Failed to compile. Card stack. React Native screens. Okay, so it says it can't resolve React Native screens, which makes me want to lose faith in this documentation because none of that was present anywhere, right? So we will just go to well, why would he say that? Why would he say that? That's so weird, to be honest, because we're not doing anything. So what if I just comment this out? That's a bit. Yeah. So okay. So it's the import itself is causing the error. Do you see that? Because when I commented out the import, the hello world is visible, and when I reinstate the import, I get the compile error. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
That's a little bit of I'm a bit worried about this because usually the fact that you are importing a library doesn't mean that it's being used, but in this case it's apparently already being used one way or another. Do you understand? So let's just look at the documentation and what do they want us to do? They want us to create a home screen and create a stack and this. Okay, so we will now. Don't worry about anything else at this point, Christer.
Yeah, but now it got up. It's just fucked with me, so now I got it up.
It says that it can't resolve the stack card stack JS.
Yeah, and I commented it out, and then it showed hello world and everything.
Okay, good. So reinstate those imports.
Yeah.
And we want to say const stack equals create stack navigator. Right, like this. That's the only thing I want you to do. Then I need you guys to create a new subfolder, okay, that we will call screens, okay, and then I want you to create in that folder, I want you to create a new file, and let's call it, let's just call it first screen.js, and then I want you to do RNCS, I think. No. RNF export component.
RNFES.
RNFES, right. RNFES. RNFES.
Yep.
Yes.
And you should get that.
Yes.
Are you done with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we will just say, we will actually get over to the app.js, and we're gonna copy the styles all together, okay? The entire styles constant.
Yep.
And then we will go over to the first screen, and we will replace this line 14 with that one that we just imported, okay? And the other thing, we can just make it really easy for us. We're gonna copy the entire content of the return statement from the app.js component, and we're gonna copy this over to first screen, replace whatever is there now, okay? And here we will say hello first screen. Okay? Okay, now we're going to turn our attention to the app.jsx again for a second. And what they want us to do is to create a navigation container and then a stack navigator and then stack screen. So this is what we're going to do. So in this app component that we have, we're going to remove whatever is in the return statement, okay? Remove all of that. Okay, and here we want to say navigation container, sorry, like this. No, it doesn't work like that here. That's weird. So we're going to say navigation container like this, and inside of the navigation container we're going to say stack navigator dot navigator. And then inside of there, we're going to say stack dot screen, and we will give it a name, and that would be as a string home. And then we think we need to say, yeah, component will be also something. For now, we can't really put anything there because we need to import this component. So we want to say import from screens, the first screen, and so we're just going to say first screen, and here in the component we will say first screen. Like this. And he still doesn't want to do that. Why is that? React Native screens.
It's an Expo install.
Yeah, it's an Expo install.
I put it in the chat.
You did.
Yes.
So yes, so we need to go over to our terminal, and we need to say Expo install. Now we need to say Expo install. Thank you very much for that. React Native screens. Screens, right, in plural. Now, this is a bit, before I hit enter, I will give you a chance to do that. Now, you see, usually we install things using npm or yarn. Now we want to use Expo to install some packages. These are regular packages, but we want to install them using Expo because there are certain things that Expo need to do to be able to tap into the native components. So they need to link this component to the application itself, and therefore we're using this mechanism of installing them through Expo. This is the simplest explanation I can give to you at the moment regarding that. There are some linking that needs to be done. And if we are rejected, then we do it manually. Here we use Expo for it. Okay, so Expo install React Native screens, which, you know, I could appreciate if this was mentioned in the getting started document, of course, but it wasn't.
I think it's because this documentation is for React navigation. It's not actually Expo's.
Right. And I said fist screen instead of first screen. It's probably better if I use this. And now, lo and behold, we have a navigator there. Do you see that?
Yep.
Right.
Oh, what have I done?
Probably something wrong.
Yes.
What do you need?
No.
I just
That's
get the
good.
error, same error, so I maybe missed something.
Yeah, I
It's
probably
here also.
also missed something because I cannot resolve navigation stack.
I forgot S in screens, so it was screens,
Okay.
but now
So
it works.
You're up and running. Seva,
Yes.
are you running into issues?
Yeah, navigation stack cannot resolve. Missed it. It's a different error.
It's Stack Navigator.
Stack.
You want to share your screen, Seva?
Yes.
All right. Let's get you up on screen here.
So this is code.
Show me the code first. Show me the code. Navigation container, stack, agreed, stack navigator,
This thing.
React. Did you install this one?
Install with the
In the beginning,
VM?
yeah. So it's yarn add. This
I
is
did
native, and you have to just
also stuck.
yeah.
Yeah. Missed that.
Let's see if that will work now. Yes. All right. It should compile. I don't think you need to restart the server again, but who knows?
Compiles.
Is everybody else up?
No.
We'll get to you in just a second.
Yes. Yeah.
Hold on.
Views stack.
So what is it? Stage navigation, right? Return stack navigator. You have the stack read, stack there, stack screen name home component, stack navigator. It looks good. Go over to the first screen, JS, for a sec. That looks good to me. So restart the server.
How did I get a home up there? Is it a name?
Yeah,
Yes,
the
the
name.
name.
The name.
Did you run the Expo install?
You have to run Expo install React Native screens as well. Did you do that?
I did.
Oh, yeah, I had
Did
some
it.
stuck up here, but I found it.
Now go over to your browser. Show me your yarn log, by the way. No, your package JSON. Sorry. So you're this. Right. React Native Web. Hold on a second.
There's no Expo
No.
screen.
Yeah. We're missing that. Right, React Native screens. Right, so you have to do this command that Lucas pasted in chat. It's Expo install React
Okay,
Native
just
screens.
I
Oh.
made a typo there.
Okay. Always be on the lookout what the terminal tells you. Right, let's see if that works. And who else had issues?
No, I fixed it. I had some
Uh,
style auto shit in the screen shit. So
I also have the issue.
Okay, so Arun, you can share your screen. Seva, you can probably stop sharing. You will be
Yep.
fine now, probably.
I'm getting nothing here, and I think it's the same thing. And I didn't get. Can you, Lucas, send me that code? I didn't.
No.
I
It's
wasn't able to
Expo
find it.
install React Native
Okay,
screen.
wait. I did that actually. Expo install React Native screen.
Yes.
It's the screens, yes?
Yes.
I did that already.
No, you did yarn add. We said that it's Expo. I repeatedly said that. So before you did yarn add React Native screens, and
Yarn.
no, you're not listening now. Okay, no problem. Just start the server now.
Start the server.
What does it say that React navigation stack module not found can resolve? I said this initially.
Maybe you also missed the stack, like Seva.
Yeah. Could you just show me your package JSON?
Okay, here it is.
Could you close it and open it again, please?
Package JSON.
What? What?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so go to your terminal again.
Okay.
And I need you to do ls. Okay. It's not, I don't understand this because it's not installing what it's supposed to. Could you show me the package JSON again for a second?
Yes.
React Native, Web React DOM, React dependencies, right.
It's missing native and stack, right?
Yeah. So, okay. So go to your terminal again, and then you say React. So could you go to that documentation that I was showing you guys? Did you open that?
Documentation.
Yeah, the documentation for the React Navigator. So if you go to npmjs.org.
I'm just checking that. npmjs.org.
Checking the video chat here.
No. Actually,
Okay.
no. So I need you to point your browser to npmjs.org.
I can do it here. npm.
Yeah, just hit enter now. Look at the screen. Hit enter. Right.
Yep.
And you just do React-Navigator. Where is it now?
React
Navigation.
Okay, navigation.
Yeah, it's popping up there, so you have to look at what's
Yep.
there. There you go. Right. Okay. Open this up, and the other guys, you should do this too. I don't know if you've done it. Scroll down a little bit, and then and then there is this getting started guide.
Getting started.
In the top.
In the top.
In
Under documentation.
Down a little.
Here, documentation, getting started guide here.
Right. And scroll down a little bit.
Hello React.
Yeah, on the left side.
The left side.
Hello React navigation. Okay.
Right. So you want to need, and now click on yarn,
Yarn.
and then try to run this first, right?
This one.
This is installing the navigator, right?
Okay. So you want me to run this one, yeah?
As we said before, yeah, Arun, we were talking about this. Definitely do that.
Okay.
And once you've done that, there is another package that is called native. So this is basically the same thing, but you just change the word stack to native.
Boom.
And now you run the Expo install React Native screens. No. Just React Native screens.
Screens.
Yes. There you go. Let's try that. And then once that is done, I want you to show me your package JSON. Right.
And then click again. Yep.
And now it looks much better. Now you have React Navigation's native and the stack and the screens. And now you can start your web server again. So Yarn Web, for instance.
Yeah. Nothing is opening.
Run in web browser, maybe?
Run in web browser. Yeah, it is working.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So let's get back to this now. So there are a lot of things that we can do with this navigator. You can stop sharing now. There you go. So there's a lot of things we can do with this navigator, for instance, right? Let's say that there's a lot of wind.
I think you have to mute, Lucas.
Oh, sorry.
Right. Okay. So the word home, where did it come from? Well,
I was like, home. Yeah, it's a name.
Yeah. So it's definitely in our app.js. This is it. So if I just say whatever, then that will change to whatever, right? Okay. So what else can we do here? We can pass in some dynamic content. So if I just say, for instance, const name equals my application, and then I pass this in here, then we see that it says my application instead, right? So this is, of course, dynamic. That goes without saying. But there are many other things we could potentially do with this thing. For instance, we could do something like we could do something like options. So let's go in and change this to multi-line, okay, and format our code. And here we can do options equals, and that would be JavaScript. So we want to do that, and we want to say header right, and that would be a call a function. No, sorry. Remove that. Remove line 18. So the options will be a function in itself, like this. And let's format our code. Yeah. Oh, Siri wants to talk to me. No,
There.
I don't want to talk to Siri. Right. So here we could say we can allow options to. I think we need to allow options to take props, and then here we just want to say, for instance, something like header right. Now we want to do header right, and that would be also a function like this. And here we want to say, can we say something like text? Let's see if we can do text. And then something. Perhaps we don't need those props. Let's just say some text. Let's just pass in a string, some text, like this. Header right. Options, props. Options. Why aren't you displaying that? Do I have to have a view? I think I need to have a view. Let's try that. View, and then put this inside of here. What does that look like? No, that doesn't look good to me. That doesn't look good to me because I misspelled view, right? Perhaps because that could be the reason. Come on. Let's try that. Header right. Header right. Header. Really? First of all, I'm kind of disappointed that it's in on the left. Header right. Header left. Let's try left. But it still doesn't do anything. But what am I missing here? What am I missing here? What am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? Text. First of all, we don't need the props or anything. That's what you get when you go on a limb here, right? Okay, let's try something else then.
Fuck commercials.
Let's yeah, we'll be back soon.
Yeah.
So let's do header style. I want to win. I need a win here. Header style, and then an object, and we will say background color, and then let's say as a hex FFF. Why is he giving me a hard time? These options are not being used for anything. Hold on a second now. What am I doing wrong here? This should be in a different color now. And it isn't.
Why are they gray?
It needs to return somehow.
Huh? Once again?
Like wrap them in a normal brackets, kind of, because it's an implied return, I think, because it's a callback. Potentially, it needs to return the rendering of those things.
And paint FFF
Oh,
white as well.
you mean like the whole thing, this?
So, yeah. So before that curly, yeah, and the same on left header left actually. In front of that line 21.
No.
No?
No. But this kind of worked.
Like header style and background color, like they are gray for me when I write them.
Also, like background color FFF is white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same
But
color.
this worked. Like if I said 892B2F, that's actually a dark red. Who's doing the heavy breathing here? Is that?
Sorry, it's the wind outside. Okay. If you on the header instead of
Oh,
having
are you
curlies,
outside? Okay, now I got you.
instead of the curlies, have normal brackets on the header right. Yes, try that.
Yes, that was exactly that. Yeah, I can see that now. Even in my notes, there were already.
I don't know if I missed anything because
lot.
it doesn't work for me.
You probably missed a lot because I just fixed it myself. So here's the thing. Let's just remove this. Sorry. Let's just remove this. Okay. So what we need to do is to say options, and then let me. So first you want to do options equals and then curly brackets. Okay. So. All right, and then you have a callback. So you do parentheses, arrow function, and then as Lucas was gracious enough to point out, you need to do
that one.
The regular parentheses, because that's an implicit return, and then you do curly brackets again, and then you say header style, and then curlies for the background color.
I need this one. Yeah, it was the normal brackets that fucked it up. Now it works.
Right. And then let's see.
But I removed view and text and view.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
Yeah, they
line
were
21.
21 to 24.
Yeah, but you
25.
can reinstate that now. We're gonna change the color to white.
Inside this shit.
Header style.
Okay.
So let's see if we can do. Can we do header? Can we do just header style, and then we just say here we say color, and then as a string, and I think it's 0000000, right? That's white, isn't it? That wasn't that color. Font color, perhaps. Is it font color? Font. No.
Should be color.
So,
Zero is black. Yeah.
is it?
I think so.
Fuck.
No, it isn't. Let's go to the documentation.
Style. I think it's header title style. Wait, how is that?
Header tint color.
Yeah, yeah, maybe not. No. What? Where's the fucking
Header tint color, header style, header background, header tint color. Yeah. So, yeah, let's do this. Let's just add these two. So remove this, and then we just do add these two. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, that was that. Right. Header tint color. So that was it.
Header tint color.
Font weight, header style, and font. Can we do font size? Can we do that? Yeah, I think we can do it. We do 30. Let's see. Yeah. Now I can change the size of the font as well. Do you understand? Right.
There's a little hack here, is that this can also be added to the stack Navigator as screen options, and then it applies to all screens.
Okay.
If you want to use the same.
All right. Yeah, so it's very hard to paste code into the Twitch chat.
I wrote it. And I wrote it wrong, I guess.
Oh, you want to randomize the color?
Yeah.
All right.
On press.
On press function, okay. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Damn it.
Const colors.
I didn't get some text to show.
So you mean like here you do this here?
Bold.
Oh, you're using state for that.
Yeah, the first line or two is a state. Yeah.
Right, so we want to import use state. And what and where and so you modify what on how do you
color? So you could set background color to the variable color, and then create some button, and then we'll see the.
I didn't get that header right. Some text.
Or the tint color.
and then
Share screen. Krista.
stack screen on press function equals
This I'm not really.
set.
Maybe add it to the header right or something. Yeah, it's a button.
Oh, you mean that? Okay. But should we do on press set press function?
And Chris, the curly bracket you have on line 26 and 30, if you make them to normal brackets instead.
On tab, is it on tab?
Isn't it on press? Maybe.
No, I don't want to fuck around with this too much.
Missed that one.
I think if you, I don't know, add it to the. Can you add it to a view? Or does it have to be touchable?
Well,
I actually don't remember.
we probably need a touchable opacity to do that. So let's not do that now. Let's not fuck around with that now.
No.
Right. Oh, that was. Where is the white thing? There it is. Right. Okay. So what I'm just saying is that you can do a lot of tweaking and stuff like that on that thing. Now let's try to navigate somewhere. Okay. So we're just gonna go to screens. I'm gonna paste this code for the stack screen in our chat on Slack actually. Okay. That's gonna be here in Camp March, formatted. This is the stack screen as it looks right now. So anybody that needs that can just copy this. Is everyone, once we've done it, is everyone on board on that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, good stuff. Let's go to screens, create a new file, and we're going to call it second screen, okay? Second screen.js. And we're going to basically just copy the entire content of the first screen and put it in the second screen, okay, folks? And just change the name of the component and export to second screen. Okay, and we would just say hello second screen. Are we good?
Yep.
So we have a first screen and second screen.
Yep.
Soon.
And I also justified content to center again, so I have it, halfway through this thing. And so what we will be doing now is to try to navigate from the first screen to the second screen, and then navigate back from that second screen to the first screen. How does that sound as a plan? All right.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Okay, so let's figure out how we do that. We go to the documentation, and you have the documentation up as well. And so we will just go moving between screens. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. Right.
Right. In the previous section, hello, right, we defined a stack navigator with 2 routes, home and details. Well, we haven't defined it, home and details, right? So we want to home screen navigation, and here we want to go to navigation details. Okay, navigate. Okay, this is the thing, navigate. So in order to have somewhere to navigate, we need to add that second screen. So we need to do that by adding a second screen called, we need to tell our navigator where to navigate to, if that would so that needs to happen. I have a question about if you study computer vision, image processing, object detection in Python. Well, that's definitely worth studying. I would definitely say it's image object detection is really fun, I would say. It's a little out of scope for our endeavor at the moment, but
it sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds cool. Right, so let's do a second screen. We're going to keep it really simple, so we will not be adding more than the necessary. So we're just going to say screen dot stack dot screen, and we're going to give it a name, and the name will be second screen, or whatever you want to call it, and then the component will be second screen, we called it, right? Second screen, right? But we don't have that component imported yet, so we need to do that, right? We have to close the tag as well, and we need to import the second screen. So we just want to say import from screens second screen. Right. So we should be good to go here. No errors. Let me know when there is no errors. You good?
Not really.
The thing that we want to avoid is to have any errors. You can't navigate or anything yet. Of
Yeah,
course.
but it's an error. Yes, failed to compile.
Share your screen.
Yeah, share your screen if you're having any.
Sure.
And I see we have our friend from Australia, Robotic, with us in chat at least. So that's nice. Hope you're doing fine there, Australia, Colin. they I don't know if I should hate robotic or not, but he said that it was getting cold in Australia. He was just having like 20 degrees Celsius. That was cold for him. I don't really know what he means by that, but
Poor
It's
guy.
getting hotter here, 8 degrees. It's
yeah,
getting
we have
hotter here.
exactly. So the Australians are
It's your component. It's called screen, I think.
Screen.
It's to the left. All the way.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey.
Good job.
and show you open it up, see if you exported
Yeah,
it.
it works.
All right.
Oh, it's the butler.
Yeah, that was a bit of a shit show there, but that's okay. So just a quick rundown. David, are you without errors?
Yeah, I'm totally. This time is good for me.
All right, Luke,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Christer,
Yes, I'm good.
Svampen.
Yeah, now I'm good.
All right, Lucas,
Sure.
Arun,
Yes, sir.
and Seva.
All good.
All good. All right, let's navigate, folks. So what did they do in the component? So moving between screens. So we basically want to just, so this guy is taking props apparently. Okay, so we're just gonna destruct this property navigation. So let's start with that. So we go to our first screen and we do here on the where we have our arguments, we say navigation.
I'm in commercial.
Yeah, me too.
15
Well,
Well,
seconds.
you don't need to be in the commercial. You need to be in the first screen component
Oh,
in the
okay.
arguments, and you just destruct the props. So you do curly brackets and you say navigation. You don't need a commercial for that. Trust me.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna take a sip of water, and I'm gonna get rid of my snooze.
Was it good?
It was totally a-okay. For code alongs, I'm gonna go with the strong stuff. I would probably need a bottle of vodka,
You need a cigarette too.
so I'm gonna put in a new one here. All right. So okay, so we do navigation, and then we're gonna import another primitive called button from React Native, and on our view, underneath the text, we will add a button like this, and we will say press me, right? And we're gonna give this guy an event. But before we do, we want to see if the button shows. It does, but it doesn't say anything because
Yeah, it's just a blue line.
buttons are different. Look at my screen now. Button needs to be closed like a one-liner, and then it will say title. Yes, title. Title equals press me. Right, now we see that. Press me.
Okay.
So it's not a regular button as we have in HTML. Now we've learned that.
UI
Yeah.
button, kind of.
It's a semantic UI button. So you probably understand why I pressed for semantic UI instead of having you write your own stuff. Okay, so we want to give this an event. So we're going to say on press. Okay, so we're going to say on press equals, and we inject some JavaScript, callback, and then we say navigate. And where do we want to navigate? We want to navigate, it's a function, so we need to, as a string, pass in whatever name we gave this guy. Second screen we gave it, right? Second screen, so we're just going to say navigate second screen. Okay? And now,
Look at that.
I see. Second, and I have a back button. You see, I have a back button, so I can buck it up.
Cool.
Awesome. Now, that's pretty much everything you need to know. No, of course it's not, but it's a start.
And the back button comes from.
Yeah, exactly. Where does it come from?
It comes automatically, I think, from the.
It comes
stacks.
automatically from the stack. Yeah.
Semantic.
Semantic. Lovely.
From yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Right.
Cool beans.
Cool beans.
So why don't we say here on this, because let's say that we don't like that arrow here. Let's say we want something else, right? Just to fuck you up a little bit. So go to app.js and let's take a look at the second screen. We're just gonna turn this into multi-line, okay? And then we're gonna say options, right? Equals this, and then we do a callback like this, and then we do this regular parentheses first, and then curlies. Regular parentheses and curlies. Thank you, Lucas. You opened my eye to that one. I totally missed that. And then we say something like. Then we say header back title colon, and then we say take me back. Okay. Right. Let's see if that works. No, it did not work. Why not? Header back title. Header back title. What? Really? Header back title. Why are you fucking with me? What if we just do title, and we say whatever here, and a comma, and so this should say whatever now. Yes, so that works. Header back title. Really? I was under the impression that this would work without any problems. But om du studerar mer och inte håller på med den här så det gör du ju inte. You're lost. Yeah, so we're having a problem with this back title thingy. I thought that header, there's no misspelling here. Header back title. Take me back. Is it too long? Is it this? No. This one should modify this actually. But it apparently doesn't. So what? Options, and it's a callback. Do I have to say props? Why would I have to do that? I don't have to do that. No.
It could be that it's no. Try to delete whatever or the title.
No. I know. I think I know. I think that you need to say header left null. Let's see if this works. No, second screen. Now he didn't do that at all. Ah, I hate when this happens.
Skull.
Hubba hubba hubba. Hubba hubba hubba. Come on. Well, so let's just search for it then. Search. Header back title. Yeah, header back title. Title string used to the back button on iOS. Defaults to the previous screen's header title. Really? To the previous screen's header title. Yeah, but this is only on iOS. You see, this is this will not. Right, this is only iOS, so that won't fly. That's what it is. It's iOS only. So you know there are a few caveats here. There are a few problems with all of this. Okay, let's you know what? Let's just say take me back. Like this for now, and now what I will do, this is working for me now, this navigation at least. Okay, so what I will do now, and you should probably not do this, and that would be Yarn iOS. Okay, so I'm gonna try to spin this up on my
We shouldn't do it.
No, I wouldn't do it at this point. I will just free up a little bit of my memory because we've been there now, haven't we, Lucas? With running this in a stream, not fun. Let's hit enter and then we can take a coffee. No, we shouldn't do that.
Why is it fucking delay?
Right. I think perhaps our friend from Australia was upset with me because I think he left. Yeah. Let's see. Opening this. Okay. Let's see. Opening Expo in simulator. iPhone 11 Pro Max. Okay. Let's see what this does for us. Let's open this one up here. Is it actually opening or? This might take a moment. No shit, Sherlock. But it doesn't bundle. I should probably click on this, right? Yeah, once at least. And while I'm doing that, I will also take my phone and I'm gonna point this to my screen.
Wait, can you open the tunnel? That'd be fun.
And it opens up in Expo.
Yeah.
What?
If he opens the tunnel, then we can all play with it.
Yeah, we'll see. See, I have enough problems. This could potentially work without a tunnel, you know. He's building my JavaScript. He's on 8% at the moment.
It says no usable data.
It says? Well, then we're gonna have to wait. I think I will actually get this up on my phone. I'm trying. I'm on 16%.
I like how it's going backwards.
And we have I have a simulator open now. And we get unable to resolve module gesture handler. All right. So we need to base button. What the fuck is this? We need to do a yawn. Right. Let's stop this. So is it Expo? Let's now. See. This is the problem. We need to getting started. Let's have a look here. Because all of these. Yeah. So these are the things that we need to install. It said that, you remember I was complaining that it didn't say that. So you see on the getting started, if you navigate to getting started, there is this bunch of things you need to install. We need to do that actually before we do anything else. All of these things need to be installed in your project. So again, I'm just repeating this so that nobody misses that. On getting started, where the thing that I just selected, all of this needs to be copied and installed into your project. Okay, guys?
Yep.
All right. And now my computer will probably commit suicide.
Done.
We learn as we go.
It went fast as fuck for me. Pew.
Well, because you are not on Twitch doing this, probably. And now we want to navigate to this thing, and we want to open up in iOS Simulator, and we'll see if we see that. So I'm going to open up in Simulator first, and then on my iPhone actually.
Cool. I fixed the tunnel on mine. See?
There you go. There you go. Let me just hold this up so we can show this to people on Twitch.
I don't have an iPhone. Damn.
Neither do I.
Yeah, you did
Just
it.
use the camera of your phone.
Yeah, great stuff. And look at my simulator for now. It says open in Expo Go. So I'm just going to click on open, and we'll see if we get that up and running. Opening project. The splash screen is showing, and we should be. Hello there, friend. Yeah, got it. No problems. And then we're just going to go here. Press me. Yes, we're pressing you. Take me back, it says. Looky. You see that on my screen?
Yeah.
And just there you go on Twitch.
Cool.
And we're going back. And you see that this button is unstyled on iOS, whereas it was blue on the web view. One of those things, right?
Yeah.
And let me just see if I can open this up now on my phone.
Funny. I still get the press me blue button on
an Android.
Yeah.
Right. And if I'm here, there I am. You see? And I'm gonna press this. I am on Twitch. You can see that. There we go.
It says back.
It says back, yeah.
Yeah, it says back here, right? So it's apparently different from one to another. So so these things need to be researched and run some manual tests, of course, and stuff like that, you know. But it does work, and we have a mobile application.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Let's just do one final thing here. Let's just say in our code, what I want to do is to pass in a property to the second screen. Do you understand? So I want to make the content dynamic one way or another. Okay, so we want to we want to pass in props. Right, route parse dish title. Right, right. Let's have a look. So we have to go to the documentation, and we say pass in props. Pass in props. Pass in props. When you cannot pass the navigation prop, much better alternative screen props. I mean, that run several random. Pass a child callback to pass these downs. Options for screen component. Yeah, options title my profile, but that's not it. Component. How do we pass in props? Screen options, return. Navigation prop. Set options. Navigation prop. Right, so that's the thing. Button, where's navigation? Go back. Navigation events, is focus, dispatch. No, I don't want to dispatch. Common actions. Source, navigate, profile, source, target. Let me just see. Common and reset. Name, reset, snap, measures. Props, set. Props. Set params. Route params, dispatch, set options. This screen's options. But I should be able to, let me just check that. Shouldn't I be able to, here on the first screen, when we do this, and then I say something like, you know, name equals name, not name, and then Thomas, for instance. Come on, give me a fucking break. Name Thomas, right? So what are these? So isn't this taking second screen, and then we just take props, and then we say hello, and then props name. Shouldn't that work? No, it does not work. It does not work.
I don't know if ever passing parameters to root. Can it be that in the documentation? Because they've done something similar to what you did here.
Where? On what side?
In the documentation, passing parameters to roots. I'm on a different one, maybe. Yeah, I might be on it.
Yeah. So yeah. So it will be route. No, props, route, params, name. Yeah, that's the one. Props route and then params name. That's the one. So if we go to my here and I just press me, then it says hello Thomas. Do you see that? So I can pass in parameters with this guy. Greetings, Dream Traveling. How you doing? We're doing some React Native experiments. Let me just show you this, guys. So when you want to access the value, so you say props route params name in this case. If you allow second screen to take properties, do you understand? And on the first screen, you're just, as a second argument on the navigate, you just pass in an object saying name Thomas. Or whatever you want to say, of course. So you can pass this in. Does that make sense, folks?
What did you write in the second screen? Props
In
route.
this, params name. So even here, you can probably see that things are coming back to us. You remember we used the word params, or the, you know, all over the place. And here you're also working with params, but it will be they are route params. Do you understand? For this thing. So the concept is the same. It's a different use case, different way of doing things. And again, always when you do this kind of shit, like focus not only on getting it to work, but looking at those patterns that come back and haunt you. You understand? Like params is a way to communicate with your controllers in your backend application, but here with your properties. Right?
You use Redux and shit in.
You can do that. We don't do it yet.
But
But you can definitely use Redux. Redux is totally independent of where it's being run and so on. So,
all right, cool.
Could you open your app.js page, please?
App.js page, please. Yes. Yes. So I need everyone to say hello to each other in chat. So you are super friendly, and I need to see more of those Illuminati. Who was that? That was Fampen, right? I want to see more Illuminati icons. Yuvu. What that? Oh, there you go. Okay, I missed that. Aruna, you must be on Twitch as well, right? Right.
Cool.
Yeah, there's the Illuminati. There's the
This
Illuminati.
one.
I like that. So my son, he starts to become a man. So yesterday he asked me if we could watch X-Files together because he's into Illuminati. He knows that I'm a Freemason, and he has seen the All-Seeing Eye on a book or something, and he was, Daddy, are you one of those guys who runs the world? And I said, I'm definitely running your world, so that's me.
Cool.
All right. So, Seva, are you passing properties to your second screen?
Yes, I do.
And does it say Thomas?
No.
Shit. Okay. Kim, are you passing properties?
Yes.
And does it say Thomas, or does it say Angela?
Something.
It does say something. So it's not Angela Merkel?
No, not yet.
Okay, not yet. Okay. Lucas, are you passing properties to your screen? Fuck. Yeah.
No, I'm passing it with you guys.
You're passing that with us guys. Okay. Whatever makes you happy.
My
All right.
spirit is in your code today.
Okay. David, are you passing everything?
Not that clear, actually. I missed something. I was reading documentation. If you can open the app.js, maybe.
I can open the app.js.
Thank you.
I have a meeting in 10 minutes, so let's wrap this up, folks.
Go.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll fix it.
No, I worry. That's what you pay me for.
I mean, I was good, and I was deep inside documentation, and I missed what you did with the
So
props.
keep it simple. So the app.js is not in focus here.
Where did you give the props?
On the first screen, on the on-press, navigate, second screen, and then
Navigate, second screen, then?
And then as a second argument, you're passing an object, saying, for instance, name.
Uh-huh. That's part. That's
Right.
part. All right, don't worry.
Okay, I worry. Christer, where are you?
Mine say hello, lappjävel.
That's you. That's you. That's the spirit. Okay. And Luke, where are you?
Yes, working fine.
So you're not.
Not as explicit as Krista.
No, but it does. So it doesn't say Thomas.
No.
All right.
I
And
can change it before I commit if you like.
I'm not
Mine
saying
says
you.
yo, bro.
I'm not saying you have to, but and Arun, where are you on this one?
Yeah, I followed the guru completely. Hello.
So in terms of sucking up, you excel. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah, hello Thomas.
All right. So you're good at that. All right, folks. This will do it for me. We scratched the surface here. And the thing is that, I have a walkthrough. We could do this totally without any hassle and so on. But I think it's much better to jump around and check documentation, because at the end of the day, when you guys sit down to experiment with this kind of applications, you need to read, a lot of docs. This is something in between programming and configuring your app. All times there are so many different attributes of this functionality that needs to be taken into account. So don't think for a second that there are any shortcuts here. Chat, I hope you enjoyed this one way or another. I don't know if you did. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, the usual. You don't have to be here. But we will be back with more React Native in the next demo that I will be running tomorrow. We will of course fetch some data from somewhere, and we're gonna look into something called flat list. Flat list. That's the I don't know if I should call it an equivalent to UL, unnumbered list in HTML, but something like that, basically. We're going to pass in some data. We're going to display some data that we will be fetching from an external API. Okay. All right, folks. That does it for me. Sayonara. Say bye to everyone in chat, and chat say goodbye to the bunch.
Yes.
Right. The bunch.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Chang.
Bye.
Adios.
Take it easy.
Bye.
So long.
Ciao.
Bye.